Isabella Taylor, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you, Jeremy?
I am fine. Have you met the Lord Mayor?
No, I haven't. Were you here last time?
No.
Former Lord Mayor Isabella.
Very lovely.
I'm trying to get him to be Lord Mayor. What did you bring me?
Pardon?
What did you bring me?
It's red cacao chocolate. So red cacao is the chocolatier of the Adelaide Hills, and they do really nice chocolate truffles. So you'll definitely enjoy that.
Oh,
It's
that
very
looks
milk
wonderful.
White and dark.
That looks wonderful. We'll all share those later. We will do that. Now, what is this thing that you've just won?
The Legacy State Finals. So
State finals of what?
Legacy is basically a organisation or a charity that supports. So if you have a family member or loved one who's served in the Australian Defence Force and their injury or passing has affected your life in terms of money or emotionally, they provide support.
It's a wonderful organisation, and I know that because I was a ward of Legacy, and that's what they're called when. You see, my father died, what would it have been, I suppose, 10 years after the war, of war injuries. And out of the blue, Legacy turned up and said, they are wonderful, fantastic. And they look after everything that they would see as a problem for a single mother with 2 boys. So you would have a legatee who was given the family as their responsibility. It's a wonderful, wonderful system.
It's a beautiful organisation. It's a great way to give back to the community. And
Yeah. I'm very grateful to that organisation. Fantastic. And I plug them and support them any way I can, every time I can. How did you get involved with Legacy, though?
So we've got a great public speaking program at my school, and for my age group, I'm able to participate in it as a public speaking competition which they run. And you can speak on topics that they have as their ideals, which is voluntary service, care and compassion, the need for remembrance, mateship, and I think there might be one more, but it's really left my brain right now. But I chose mateship as my speech. Yeah. Mateship matters, more specifically. Talked about stories of people just helping people, other people out in life, and that's formed friendships or serving veterans. It said Australian mateship is something we need to keep in today's society and things like that. Martin Hazy was talking to us about his trip to Denmark and how the flags were flying, one flag, national flag, one flag, but there was such pride in the city and pride in their, it was their history.
I think pride in their national identity.
Yeah, they knew who
The Danes are very clear about their national identity, and they're very proud of it, and they celebrate it, which I think is a wonderful thing.
And instead of, as I don't know about your school, but in schools I'm told kids are taught to be almost ashamed of our history and our colonial beginnings. Do you get any of that at your school?
No, I don't really. Like, if it is brought up, there's obviously talk about the stolen generation and things that have happened and that. But I thought it was quite interesting that it was a quote in the Advertiser, and it said that by Kevin Donnelly, who I think you've had on your show before.
Yes, indeed. And Les was with him last night.
Oh, yeah, he's
very insightful.
Very much so. But the article said, instead of national pride and optimism about the future, generations of young people have been taught Western cultures like Australia are structurally racist, classist, homophobic, and the world is about to end due to the impending climate cataclysm.
Yes. So that's enough to take the enthusiasm out of someone as young as you. How old are you now, by the way?
12, almost 13.
Yeah. And when did we first get together? How old were you?
I think I was 8.
8?
Maybe. Yeah.
You're an old soul, aren't you? Yeah. You've been here before.
Probably, maybe. I don't know.
So how is school?
It's good, yeah, very busy. Year 7's very different to like primary school. It's a lot more work. Like you just get homework and you don't really know what is and isn't graded. So it's interesting to do with that, yeah.
Did they touch on politics at your school? You go to Seymour, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a unit learning about the Australian government and with the different House of Representatives and the Senate, and we do a unit where we made a video in pairs, which was really fun. I really enjoyed that unit. It was quite interesting to see how different powers work in the voting system and all that, which we've learned about in previous years. But it's a good unit to learn about. I definitely think it's very good for kids to know about that.
Do you have any political, I don't know, not ambitions? I wouldn't expect you to have ambitions at your age, but interest enough to sort of want to know more?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting how it works, especially with voting, who you vote 1, 2, 3, 4, and how one vote might go to someone else if that person isn't successful.
Yeah. Preferential,
yeah,
I think. Yeah.
I think it's interesting, and also just how that kind of works in partnering up with different parties and the different,
It must be very depressing. I don't know if it's like that in local government, but if you win the popular vote and you somehow lose the election, that would be pretty galling.
Many local government elections, Isabella, are determined by the count-back system on preferential votes. So it's very interesting. So that's why you see at many levels of government when there's an election that they'll kind of talk about who they're preferencing and who they're aligned with and so forth. Because, and you're right, Jeremy, you can win the outright vote in terms of you can win the most numbers compared to your, let's say, competitors in the electoral process, but that doesn't guarantee you win the election. So the countback is a very interesting process, and it's quite kind of mathematical, if not scientific, as to how it works. And it's a fascinating process.
But wouldn't it be better to just have a first past the post thing, where you win or you don't win?
Yeah. I think maybe just voting for one person might be a bit simpler, but obviously there's preferences because sometimes you can't choose and all that. So
Yeah. But that thing that you get, or you will get, probably pretty soon, it spreads out in front of you like a tablecloth for the Senate.
I've been to the polling booths with my parents before, whatever. I don't know if it's what they're called in Australia, definitely what they're called in America, I think. But I just see the sheet and it's huge.
Yeah, but you can say they make it simple. They say, well, you can just put a 1 up the top and we'll decide for you, or you can use your vote and laboriously go through every single one of the names and give them a number. You can do that if you have the interest and the time.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to do things like that because you might think you're just one person, but if everyone stops and lets them decide who your other voting people go for, imagine how many votes it actually adds up for.
Now, to you both, do you think voting should be compulsory or do you think it should be voluntary?
I think it should be compulsory.
Yeah, compulsory. I guess because when you're not listening to everyone, I guess people will complain, oh, why aren't we doing this? Well, it's because you didn't vote for that person or didn't vote at all, and it's kind of like giving up your power, I guess, to have a democracy.
It never ceases to amaze me, though, that we go out and we put our lives on the line to fight for our democracy, our right to vote and to choose and to decide. And yet you talk to some people on voting day and it's a bloody nuisance. I don't really want to do this and you can't choose. I mean, basically it's deedle-dum and deedle-dee. You think, God, people went out and died for this. We should go out and celebrate and rejoice the fact that we can cast a vote.
I agree. I mean, I don't think any of us can ever be complacent about democracy.
Yeah. It's probably not perfect.
I think we just need to make sure we don't let future generations take it for granted, I guess, because my grandparents and great-grandparents and everyone's predecessors have kind of fought for the freedom that we enjoy today. And I guess as we kind of forget about how it came to be, we sort of start to take it for granted.
It's only been around a relatively short time as a form of government.
Well said, Isabella. Well said.
Churchill, who was good at saying things and also fighting for democracy, I think he said, you can never really tell whether these quotes are really attributable or not, but he said, it's a really bad form of government, democracy, but it's a lot better than the other crappy ones.
That's right. No one's ever come up with a better system. That's right. I mean, Winston Churchill's quotes are just fabulous.
A backhanded compliment. Now, finish telling me about the prize. Because you won this the legacy.
So I'm going on to national finals in Ballarat in November, which is really exciting. So I'll be going over there for about 3 or 4 days because we're driving over.
Yes.
But no, it's definitely going to be exciting. We're going to get to meet people from other states, so 2 people from each state are selected to go. And no, it's good to meet people from other states, especially in areas you're interested in, because it's a way to, I guess, meet people with common interests, and I guess that's how friendships are formed.
And what did you do for this?
So we had a prepared speech of 5 minutes about the topics that we kind of talked about before, and then there's an impromptu topic of 2 minutes that
what they give you a topic.
They give you a topic on the spot. You don't know what it's going to be, and you have to write a speech in 5 minutes and then present it.
Well, do you write a speech or do you do it off the top of your head?
So you'll have 5 minutes to prepare and 2 minutes presentation time. So the topic, I think, was the impacts of social media, which is another very interesting topic.
Is that the one that they threw at you in this competition you just won?
Yes.
What did you say about that?
I talked about how I guess I had a friend who got heavily addicted, I guess, to gaming and that kind of stuff, and not necessarily, and social media as well, like scrolling. I kind of talked about how it had to come to kind of an incident to actually realise that you've got to step away sometimes and just actually look at your surroundings and that. But it was quite interesting because I'd done a poem that before for a inter-school poetry competition, and it kind of covered topics around poetry and identity, social media and identity and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't get nervous. You don't.
Of course, there's nerves. Yeah, definitely, there's nerves. But you just got to kind of think, I'm doing this to share an important message with other people, and I know why I'm doing this. And I guess it's just that self-confidence, knowing you've got something important.
Well, I sense, Isabella, you would do that very well. So congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Are you doing debating at school?
Yes, my team didn't get into finals, but I got voted MVD for the state Junior A team, which I was really excited about. So I might get to see the grand final for Junior A, which will be really exciting.
Where do you get this from? I mean, the drive.
I guess I've always really liked communicating in different ways, like whether that be public speaking or like art and things like that. So I guess it's just been my thing. Like some people think it's sport or it might be music. And I guess it's just a way to express yourself. People do it in different ways, and
Apart from being an old soul and having been here before, what part did your mother and father play in this remarkable child that I have here, or young woman I have here in front of me?
So my mum and dad have helped me a lot with my work, but my mum supports me a lot with my writing of the speeches and poems.
Yes.
And if it's okay, I would love to really share one. I think it's around 2 minutes. And
yes, please.
Poem. It's kind of relating to the topics we're talking about today. But yeah, my mum's kind of been a really big support. So shout out to mum throughout this whole experience. And I don't think I would have been able to do it without my parents. No,
that's wonderful. And you're not spoiled, are you?
No, no.
Just much loved.
Yes, yes.
You know, I think back to when I was 12, and I think I was playing cowboys and Indians in the backyard, climbing a willow tree, making a nuisance of myself. Thank you. So you're very mature for 12. You're not missing out on being a kid.
No, I think it's a balance. It's definitely a balance.
How do you have fun?
I love hanging out with my friends. We're going on a school camp, which is definitely going to be one of the highlights of term 4. And I guess aside from the nerves of public speaking, I think it is something that I really enjoy. And I guess for some people, even though it is voted number 1 phobia in the world,
yes, I've heard
speaking,
that. Yes,
I really enjoy it. So if it's okay, I'll share a poem with you
Please.
now that kind of circles around topics of social media and identity. So, it's called Don't Feel Sorry for Us. So, Have you seen the latest news? Anxiety's the common views. We feel the looming weight, depression knocking at the gate. Look around, what can you see? Born in love and abundance of creativity. When we were young, we feared not all was wrong. Creating freely, believing we belong. As we grow older, we begin to fear. We put up barriers, wanting to disappear. Comparing our success and skill when once I'd painted with an innocent thrill. Our world now moves so fast around us, Alphas and Gen Zs, consumed by technology and our identities. We're told what's wrong, what's right to say. Fear of offence looms over me every day. Climate, generational inequality, futures fret. Don't forget the student debt. I wish we didn't feel so low. We have to push past the fear that hides our natural flow. But hardships faced in times before, wars and Great Depression, yet they fought more. My great-grandpa survived a concentration camp. His spirit kept him going, a burning lamp. We saw how they rose, so can we. Hope is not dead and never will be. We have everything we need inside. In everyone's heart there is a passion waiting for us to find. We're born ready to take on the world. Let our wings grow and unfurl. No politics or technological intervention will ever destroy us. No objection. Fear overcome with inspiration, we can rise together. The ultimate unification. For as dormant as it may lie within every one of us, let us be inspired by those around us who love what they do with no malice, creating an immunity from the poison chalice. Thank you.
Beautiful. I wish I had an applause button. we could create a cheering crowd asking for an encore. I can't imagine you being nervous because your presentation is fantastic.
I guess it's the fear that no one is actually interested in what you're going to say because you have this whole idea in your head and when you're writing, you're so excited about it. And then all of a sudden when you step up and you see everyone, you're like, oh no, what if this isn't relevant? What if this isn't going to be actually funny? Or,
everyone, I think, in that public speaking area, and you're right, it is described as the greatest fear, more than heights or all of the other fears we have, spiders and snakes and God knows what.
Spiders are very scary.
I agree. I think I'd go for the spider phobia. But somebody said the trick is that you have butterflies in your stomach.
Yes, definitely.
Then all you have to do is to get them to fly in formation. And
I've never heard that, but I'm going to actually take that into mind. Yeah.
Yes. There's nothing you can do about the butterflies, but if they're flying in formation, you are flying with
Definitely.
a lot of help. What do you want to do when you leave school? It's not that far away, you know.
No, it isn't. That's scary. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
2025 is 89 days away now.
Yes, and I think, what is it, the Christmas pageant is 30 sleeps away?
Oh, wow. They always do it early. I feel like it's a bit too early.
Yeah. The great Lord Mayor, great tradition, that Christmas pageant.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Definitely.
That started during the Great Depression. So, of course, that was Hayward, who was the founder of
Sir Edward Hayward.
Sir
Yes,
Edward
of course,
Hayward,
yes.
founder of John Martin's department stores.
Yeah.
And he financed and supported the annual Christmas pageant in Adelaide.
Yes.
To kind of lift everyone's spirits because it was during a very tough economic time in the 1930s. And the tradition has endured. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just such a great celebration.
And the chalk is left there for the next day. Chalk on
The Sterling Christmas pageant, which is the one we mainly go to, sometimes the parking down in the city ones can be a bit of a nightmare. So it's great. We have one literally like 15, maybe a kilometre away from where we live. And yeah, the pageants are really great. And there's sometimes a dentistry does a float. It's really, they hand up toothbrushes and lollies. So,
well, I can't imagine a dental float. It's interesting. Well, I suppose everyone wants to get in on the act. I don't know who said that. Sir Edward Hayward was the guy who, have you ever been to Carrick Hill?
yes, I have, and my parents were really scared because I ran off in the bushes and they
Oh.
couldn't find me for half an hour for a family friend's birthday party. So that was an experience.
Well, that was his house, wasn't it?
That was his family home. He built that. I think in the 1930s.
It is just chocolate box pretty. It really is just so nice to look at. And now it's open to the public and people can go along and enjoy it. So there you go. School's almost out.
Yes.
There is your...
8 more weeks to go.
what happens after 8 weeks?
8-week holiday.
Oh, yeah. But there's next year looming.
Yes. And then the year after that.
Yeah, and it'll get progressively more difficult. Mind you, I think going to school was the hardest thing I ever did. The life after school was a lot easier. Somehow, I don't know. I just took to it. But what are you going to do when you come out that gate at Seymour College for the last time, wearing that uniform for the last time? What are you going to do?
I always see the Year 12s get emotional on their first day of school.
Well, I can imagine that's reasonable.
Yeah. I kind of have a split career. Like when I say split, I mean there's a part of me that wants to kind of go into a public speaking area or a job that requires that kind of thing.
What about the media?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that interests me, but I also want to do veterinary science at a uni and do that as well. So,
well, whatever you do, if you do go into show business or that side of life, it is a much better idea to have a degree or something on which you can fall back if you have to. You know, you're not vulnerable, because what I see of the media is it is very unpredictable, unreliable. You know, you're sailing along just fine, and then some executive comes along and he just doesn't like you for no particular reason, and your days are numbered. They will find an excuse. And it's, I mean, show business is part of the fun, I guess, is the instability, the uncertainty.
It's kind of interesting with school kind of being the hardest thing. And I guess they did, like when my parents and grandparents went to school, it kind of prepared you for life, I guess.
Yes.
And I feel like children are being cocooned when they're younger. They can't fail, experience judgment, win or lose. And then they go out into the real world and they're like adults and trusted adults and parents and teachers sometimes don't actually tell them that the world can be a cruel and hard place. Sometimes like media, sometimes something happens and it's one article that's just been the downfall of your career or something. And that's like where anxiety and depression can come from, which is like helping this crisis.
And the idea of telling kids that there are no losers. Well, of course there are losers. You know, there's silly business that they go on with. We can't mark your homework because we can't put a cross beside that word that isn't spelt correctly. You'll never learn how to spell the word correctly if they just skate over and say, oh, no, we can't say you failed that. But failure is part of the whole journey.
Teaches you things, because if you're not learning if you're getting everything right, you're not really learning anything. And I guess in life you never stop learning. So.
No. Do you find, up your way, you have a Christmas pageant?
Yes.
I don't know. Not all local governments are supportive of nice things like Christmas, you know, and Australia Day. Do you celebrate Australia Day?
We don't do. We definitely are proud to live in this country and are very proud of our Australian culture that has come to be from people coming from all over the world. Yeah. We have done things in the past, but I think it's that sense of pride every day going on. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I wish you well in all you do, and I know you're going to do plenty.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
You're wonderful. Isabella Taylor and her mum and her grandparents as well, all around the dining room table. And you just went all around the world.
Yes.
You didn't get any butterflies?
No, we just, I guess once you get into it, it's like a process that kind of makes, like once you're doing it, you're fine. It's just that
that's
breaking
true.
the ice, well put.
Anyway, it's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too, Jeremy.
Enjoy the holidays. And thank you for my gift.